now the most reasonable talk show host from Sobchampy to the Redneck Riviera, here is Bob Kerrigan.
And welcome to Within Reason. Bob Kerrigan with you tonight. We'll be here for an hour talking about political news and other issues. It's interesting. I think the common statement that I'm hearing, response from people is, we'll be glad when this is over. And I echo that. It has been unpleasant in a way that our news is so dominated by the trivial things that are happening in this campaign and the imagined controversies. And I particularly ascribe that to the Fox television broadcasts, to Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, the talk show radio people. They keep fabricating this terrible thing about Obama that the media just won't cover. You know, the liberal media, and I've said this before, as if they all get in a conference call and decide how they're going to distort the news together. Sean Hannity said an interesting thing tonight. He was responding to the question about the fairness doctrine and demonstrated he didn't understand it. Years ago, we had a doctrine that if you received a license from the United States government for a limited frequency, a frequency to broadcast a television or radio station, that it was a license granted to you with certain restrictions because it's owned by me and you and us. It's owned by the people. And you can't take a license, for example, and run continuous communist propaganda. You couldn't do it. You want to run a program about how wonderful communism is, you had to provide equal time for the contrary political view. Well, this is what Sean Hannity said. He said, if the New York Times doesn't have to give equal time or space or print to both sides, then why should radio stations? Which demonstrated, because Sean is not very bright, truthfully. I think he's persuasive in what he says, but truthfully, he's about as deep as a small thimble. He just didn't understand that the fairness doctrine has nothing to do with newspapers. And the reason is you can publish as many newspapers as you want. In our community, we could have 50 newspapers, and we could have 100 periodicals or whatever. There's no limit to written publication, but there's a limit to broadcast frequencies. And the idea that you can have the kinds of broadcasts that these people have put on the air with no opportunity for people to respond, and they are constantly creating straw men. And the straw man they create is this whiny liberal who's a communist or a socialist. And here's the real core of what is so offensive about this. They say it, and they couch it in terms of un-American speech. And I've heard them say it, and you have too. These liberals, they don't love America. Well, no, truthfully, I think liberals don't envision getting into bed with somebody named America, but that's the extent of the fact that liberals don't love America. And how insulting it is that if you disagree with somebody in this country now, you can be labeled as un-American. Hence, this bizarre woman who's in the United States Congress, Congresswoman Bachmann, who now is saying that Congress needs to be investigated to determine the number of un-American congressmen that we have. Now, the deerskinner appears to be a very spontaneous person, calls herself a hockey mom. I guess they figure that'll carry these swing states in the center of the country where they do play hockey. They don't play it in Alabama, okay, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, but they think that'll play well in Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin and places that they really think they have a shot at this year, Colorado. Not North Carolina, but in any event, the hockey mom thing, okay? But when she said, in this way that she says it, She's just a regular gal. You know what I'm talking about? Just a regular gal. And she appeals to moms that are transporting children. She identifies with them. She cares about them because she's just like them. Well, not exactly. Here's the story now. If this isn't a typical Republican fiasco, listen to this. The Republican National Committee, those astute citizens, all white male smoking cigar guys, and they paid $150,000 to invest in Sarah Palin's pitiful clothing. Her wardrobe has prompted some teeth gnashing among the party's big donors about its political sensibility and a feisty debate among campaign finance specialists about its legality. Let's show you some of the $2,500 jackets and some of the other stuff that she's sporting now. Let's roll that. There's one. That's $2,500. I forget. I don't know all these name brand things. I mean, I can't tell you all of the fashion names here, but some of you aficionados would know what they are. Let's roll them. There's the whole Palin family. Aren't they decked out cute? Todd has a nice suit. He looks wonderful in his $500 or $750 suit. It's just fabulous. And look at all those nice shoes. And don't they look like good Republicans are just so nicely dressed? It's just natural. It's the way they normally dress, except in Alaska. Of course, they look like, look terrible in Alaska. All right, let's look at the next picture here. Isn't that a pretty outfit? That's probably $3,000 or $4,000. It's this kind of thing that you folks would pick up on the weekend if you need something. And there's Todd. He's smiling so nicely in his expensive suit. Look at those shoes. You think you go buy those shoes for $50 like you people do, like you peasants are doing? No, those are $500 shoes. And you folks should appreciate the fact. And isn't that, I think that's little Piper or Pipper or one of the kids. And apparently that is a $500 bag she has. I'm not sure the name of that thing. And unless it's a ripoff they got on the street of New York, that's a bag and she's got a McDonald's cup. That kind of summarizes Alaska to me. But in any event, isn't that a pretty outfit? That's beautiful. That's part of the $150,000 that we know about, okay? This is what they took out of the Treasury where you folks sent your checks in there, okay? And I don't think they might have given the guy with the turban that blue turban too. There's another pair of $500 pumps, okay? Aren't those swell? Let's look at the next one. Isn't that a cute outfit? Oh, she's just cutesy, isn't she? She was a former runner-up beauty queen, one of John McCain's many beauty queens that he's known. There's some nice shoes. There's a couple of real fine citizens on the front row. Look they're just mesmerized. Oh, isn't that precious? Look at that little outfit. You think these people just pulled this off the rack? No. She's a vice presidential candidate in the Republican Party. She can't look like you peasants. Are you kidding? She's got to dress up because white male Republicans demand this kind of look from their women, especially if they can use your money to outfit them. It's just a Republican kind of tradition. Dress them up good, and we don't want them to be too bright, but dress them up good, and we'll parade them around, and we'll get the yahoos to be mesmerized into voting for her because she's so cute. And she's so adorable, even though she's dumb as a post, okay? But she's so cute. That's your vice presidential candidate, Sarah the Deer Skinner Palin. Thanks for watching tonight Within Reason. We'll be back next week. This program is rebroadcast Friday night at 10 and on Monday night at 10. Email me or fax me, and thanks for watching tonight.